What's up? What's up, y'all? My name is Johnny, and I'm bringing it to you live. We're gonna get that started again. What's up, y'all? My name is Johnny, and I'm bringing it to you the only way I know how to bring it to you live and direct. Yes, we are here. We talking about the Tupac murder. Woo! It's been a long time. It's been a long time. My man Tupac was 25 years old when he was murdered, shot down in Las Vegas. So just to kind of bring you some backstory, what had happened, Tupac had just left a fight, Mike Tyson fight to be exact. And sometime during the Mike Tyson fight, they had they jumped a gang member. They jumped another gang member. And supposedly that gang member had beat up somebody from Death Row Records, which Tupac was a member of, and stole his chain. So back then, even now, to steal a rapper's chain is a big deal. That's a big, huge sign of respect. Disrespect. Huge, big sign of disrespect. And so this had happened. And Tupac was in a phase, and it's like, well, he was trying to prove to not only Death Row, Suge Knight, but to the world, he was trying to prove to the world that he was that dude. He was that nigga. You know what I'm saying? The thug, the biggest thug that Death Row ever had. He was just offered a position and East Coast Death Row Records. So I think Tupac felt like he had to do something. He had to do something bigger than anybody else that did, bigger than Snoop Dogg, bigger than the Dog Pound, bigger than the shit that he's been seeing going around. He had to do something big. And so it wasn't even his fight. But because they was at the Mike Tyson fight, you know what I'm saying? It was probably drugs involved, high, drunk, whatever. And he saw the man, and you could see the video. The video is crazy because when Tupac started walking one way real fast, the whole Las Vegas Strip started walking that way with him. It's like he had a movement going on. That was crazy. It's like he had a movement going on. So after the fight, Tupac went home, got dressed. They was like, we're gonna go out kicking. Suge Knight driving, Tupac and Suge Knight driving. Tupac went home, changed, he got out of his swag, and he threw like on a jersey, basketball jersey, kissed this girl at the time, said, I'll be back. Ooh. She told him not to go out, because of what just happened. To be safe, why don't you not go out? You know what I'm saying? He's dealing with LA Crips, Bloods and Crips. That's what he's dealing with, LA gang members. So as the story goes, they driving down the strip, females yelling out, hey, Tupac, it's Tupac, Tupac. They said Tupac was hanging out the car like he was at a carnival or something. Tupac didn't take the seriousness of what he just did. You in these guys' hometown, you beat him up, you know what I'm saying? He didn't take the seriousness of what he had just did. Like, I'm a star, you can't touch me. You wouldn't touch me because the whole world's watching me right now. There is no way you can touch me. I think that's Tupac's attitude about the thing. Like, I'm untouchable. I already been shot. I live. Now, ain't nobody there gonna shoot me because I'm untouchable. Y'all should know that. And not only that, I'm a superstar. So the whole world's gonna love a superstar no matter what. So, with that being said, he hanging out the window, females yelling, Tupac, Tupac. And the backstory is the same people that he just beat up was in a car, riding around, looking for dude. Like, nah, you ain't gonna get away with this. And they kind of figured, he a star. If he gonna be out, he gonna probably be on the strip. So, but the strip was long. They couldn't find him. And when the females yelled out, even though he was hanging out the car, they didn't see him. But when the females yelled out, hey, Tupac, and Tupac jumped out or, stuck his head out the car, yeah, whatever. They was like, okay, that's him. That's a cute. You know what I'm saying? So they was already strapped riding around looking for him. Keffe D, quote unquote, was supposedly driving the car. And his nephew in the backseat, who just got beat up, was the one who stuck his gun out and started shooting Tupac. They claimed that Tupac was reaching for something, which I don't believe, because he was just hyped up. And he was surprised. You could see every time somebody came and took a picture, Tupac was surprised. They took one picture, he was like, You know what I'm saying? So he kind of figured like, yeah, something might be going down. But I think, I don't know. I don't know if Tupac was like, I'm ready to die. Like, fuck it. I've done so much. You know what I'm saying? If I die, I die. I think, and you hear this music, I think that's kind of the attitude he had as well. So all of that's a deadly combination with what was going on and brewing in that night. So no bodyguards. They pull up and just start loading on Tupac. The first shot had hit Suge Knight in the head, and they honestly thought they killed Suge Knight. They thought that they murdered that dude. They thought they took Suge Knight out right then and there. And the other bullets went into Tupac, and he died on the scene. Basically, he fought for his life a little bit, but basically it was over on the scene. So that's the version that I've been hearing from all these documentaries. Now, supposedly, I've been watching documentaries for years trying to figure out what happened. I wasn't there, but I want to know what happened because Tupac was one of my favorite rappers. And I felt like it should have been a solved crime to begin with. So Keffee D, the one that was driving, indicated his cousin was the one that shot. He had a whole story, his cousin. And I don't understand why would you put your cousin out there like that anyway. But his cousin is dead. He wasn't here. He couldn't defend himself. How his cousin died, it's probably even more suspicious than anything. You took him out so you wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? That could be a situation. You took him out because you didn't want to be implicated in nothing. So with that being said, Keffee D was like, yo, I really didn't have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? It's my cousin, I had, yeah, I was. And that to me, that makes no sense. If you were driving a car regardless, you involved in a shooting, you should have been arrested. You should have been arrested. But this dude has been going on multiple interviews, bragging about this shit. You feel what I'm saying? Telling them I did this, I was the only person to witness a murder. And you can tell he's been getting rich. He had a tooth that was fucked up. His tooth was all pushed back and stuff like that. This dude been getting his teeth fixed. He been really living a good life off of this story that I killed Tupac, or also people killed Tupac. All interviews. He's not even a star, but he on Vlad, whatever that is. He doing all these interviews talking about Tupac because everybody want to know what happened to Tupac. So he's going to be the biggest star, so to speak, with this thing. We got street cred, things like that. So it's kind of boosting the street. It is boosting the street cred because he killed one of the biggest stars who, you know what I'm saying? So it's boosting street cred. He can become a star out here on these streets. So he bragging. So just recently, maybe I think a couple of weeks ago, they raided his house. What did they raid his house for? Any indication he had about the crime. So he had interviews they got his cell phone, they got tablets, and you can only imagine, like this dude, I don't care how hard you are, you could be a demon. You was involved in a murder. Tupac music is probably still some of the most played music today. You can be riding down the street here, Tupac. So Tupac is basically haunting dude. Believe it or not, he's being haunted by Tupac. So he got a conscience somewhere. I'm sure he was making some type of post or communicating with somebody or something on these electronic devices that indicated that he had something to do with the murder and what his role was in the murder. Now, by law, maybe you didn't pull the trigger, but I think what they're saying is Keffee D was the one who was like, yeah, let's go get that nigga tonight. The OG. Back then, it was OGs, and he was driving. So come on, put two and two together. Come on, y'all. We know the streets. He was driving. You all seen Boys in the Hood. The drivers was the ones who was like, yeah, let's go fuck them niggas up. You seen Boys in the Hood. You seen what was the other one? Menace to Society. It was the OG drivers that was the one that said, let's go do this dirt. Fuck that he a star. Because the dude that got beat up was probably like, man, I ain't trying to do that shit. I ain't trying to. Keffee G was the one who said, let's go get Tupac. Let's shoot Tupac. Let's find him. Let's shoot Tupac and Suge Knight. And he lived his whole life. Well, I don't say a whole life, he's still alive. He lived majority of his life with that street cred on him. So when they raided and got his electronic devices, all this information is probably on there as far as the role that you play. And they arrested him a week or two later. So what we're going to do is we're going to see a video and we're going to come back and we're going to play a couple of videos about this. But let's start with this first video. It's going to talk about the fact that he was arrested. We're going to check it out. And while I do this, I want y'all to like, comment, share. Let me know what y'all think about this. All right.
Breaking news just into CNN. Las Vegas police have arrested a suspect in connection with the 1996 drive-by shooting death of legendary rapper Tupac Shakur. CNN's Camila Bernal joins us live right now, along with CNN legal analyst Joey Jackson. So first to you, Camila, what are we learning about this arrest?
Hey, Boris. Sources telling CNN that they have arrested Duane Keith Davis, also known as Keffee D. He was arrested this morning, according to sources, in connection with the killing of Tupac Shakur. Now, we do know that in July, the Las Vegas Metro Police Department served a search warrant on Davis's wife's home, and what they were looking for was any evidence linking to this crime. They were looking for anything that could show motive as to the killing of Tupac Shakur. And specifically, we know that in this search warrant, police were able to obtain multiple tablets, an iPhone. They took 5 computers, USB drives, photographs. So we know that they have been looking into this case and have been investigating this case since it happened in 1996. At the moment, we do not know what Davis has been charged with. We are expecting a press conference later on today to get details from authorities. But again, this is something that happened in 1996 and police have been looking into for years now. Duane Keith Davis, he had described himself as one of the only witnesses to this shooting. If you recall, Tupac Shakur was...
Just real quick, yeah, it's crazy how they look in and like it's a real news story, and we're talking about Tupac Shakur. This is crazy. It looks funny. I mean, not funny because of the nature of it, but I would have never imagined this in my lifetime. So here we go.
A car. They were at a boxing match at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. They were in a car, and all of a sudden there was another car that pulled next to them, and the shooting began. It's unclear exactly who shot Tupac, but again, this is a huge development in this case years later, as we now know that there is someone arrested in connection to this case, Boris.
Joey, to you, it's been nearly 3 decades since Tupac was shot and killed. This is a surprising development, to say the least. What's your reaction?
Yeah, so Boris, significant and surprising development without question. But I think that what we have to understand is in murder cases, there is no statute of limitations. It's quite common that you have law enforcement throughout this country that continue to operate in a cold case capacity, continue to follow leads, and decades later, sometimes they come to a conclusion. Obviously, in any arrest here, right, anyone's presumed innocent till proven guilty, but police have been working this case. And in fact, they are giving the indication that is police that potentially this person was quite involved. Now, remember, right, in the event that there's a pull-up shooting, and indications are it happened from the back seat of that white Cadillac 27 years ago in September. But, you know, in the event that you aided, abetted, assisted, or acted in concert, you need not even be the person who pulled the trigger. There's some indications from the person that they have in custody now that it was his nephew who was in the back seat. Again, all allegations. His nephew, of course, who is now dead. But his nephew denied that he was involved at all. And of course, the giving up of his nephew, the person in custody now, is in connection with another case where he was questioned. There's certainly reports from his own book that he was present, that he was there, that he was in that vehicle. Now, mere presence, to be clear, is never enough. You have to establish that you had knowledge of it, were in on it, and acted in accord with whatever was occurring. And so certainly now, after all of this time, yes, there are challenges, Boris, in moving forward, but you have to believe that based on the search warrant they conducted in July of the suspect's wife's home, based upon the information they gathered, based upon street intelligence and other information, that they have probable cause to believe that he's involved, and we'll see how the prosecution moves forward after today.
Joey, to me, just the fact that this was a cold case for so long is significant, because this was a very public shooting on the Las Vegas Strip. You imagine there were many witnesses there, and it came after a fight, right, at the MGM Grand that was caught on security camera, in which there was always suspicion that some of the folks that were involved in that fight may have been involved in Tupac's shooting. Talk to us about the challenges of looking into a case like this with nearly 30 years of cold evidence?
Yeah, Boss, it's a great question. Certainly, you want to have arrests that are closer in time to when an incident occurred for a variety of reasons, right? The nature of the evidence presented, the memories of the witnesses, the value, whether people's memories have gone stale or gone cold. But you don't now know, right? The reality is that if you're investigating a case for long standing, presumably police have done a very diligent job, have information just not based on the arrest today, but have information that they've gleaned over the course of a number of years in connecting the dots. They have information that this particular suspect, verbal statements he's given, memoirs of his own that have been out there. We don't know, Bars, who police have spoken to in the course, right, of getting to today, how they have connected this person here, how other information may have been preserved that police have. Remember, we have the public reports, but we don't know the in-depth information that police have gleaned. So yes, in any prosecution, even if you got a murder that occurred yesterday, there are challenges. However, in the country are pretty good at putting together cold cases, and there have been significant amount of convictions predicated upon cases that are decades old. We'll see what the nature of the evidence is here, or at least get a look into that when there's a press conference held that announces more with respect to what that evidence could be.
Yeah, we're going to be watching that press conference very closely. Again, if you're just joining us, major breaking news in the murder of legendary rapper Tupac Shakur. There has been an arrest in Las Vegas in that case. Joey Jackson, Camino Bernal, thank you so much for that.
So y'all see that there is definitely a arrest in the murder of Tupac Shakur. That is crazy. Like I said, I never thought it would happen in my lifetime, because it's just that people it seemed like people wasn't worried about it. But as a correction, they raided his house in July, and I think they said they raided his girl house. So he was totally unaware that the raid was coming to hide anything, and you can't really get rid of stuff on your cell phone. So just imagine maybe the conversation he had with his girl on the tablets and things. He might have confessed to her, yeah, I was the one who set it off. Yeah, we was the one, or even, yeah, I was the one who shot him. We don't know that it was dude in the backseat that shot him. That's what he says. He planted it on his cousin. We don't know that that was the case. Keffe D could have been the one that shot him. We don't know. Or it could have been multiple guns or something like that. We don't know. But I don't trust Keffe D, because first of all, you were there and then you started bragging about it. You know what I'm saying? You hated, you didn't like PAC, you didn't get like what the street cred he was getting, and you wanted that street cred for yourself. If you get arrested and go to jail, you're gonna have some cred, but it ain't gonna be street cred. Just put that out there. So let's take a look at another video, and I want y'all to tell me what you think. Like his cousin, his family members are saying that this is bringing the trauma back to like day one. The fact that he got arrested is bringing the trauma back to day one for his family. And that's crazy, y'all. I hate to see that, but justice being served. Justice is possibly being served. I know they wouldn't take this long a time and do what they did just to let somebody go for free. They are really on this case. So let's check it out. And like I said, please, y'all, like, share, comment. If you got any questions, let me know. That helps us out to make a better show. That kind of rhymed. Let us know. That helps us out to make a better show.
But the wheels of justice turn slowly sometimes, and that was the case here. But they got it done.
27 years after rapper Tupac Shakur was shot to death in a car in Las Vegas, a man who confessed to his involvement in the crime is behind bars.
Who shot Tupac?
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat, bro.
Filmmaker Mike Dorsey predicted an arrest on Law and Crime nearly 2 months ago.
I think that they are going to close this case. I think that there is very likely going to be an indictment.
Thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime. I'm Anjanette Levy. Las Vegas Metro Police took Duane Keffe D. Davis into custody Friday. He's being held on charges related to the 1996 murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. Las Vegas Metro Police searched Davis's home in Henderson, Nevada in July.
The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
We got a search warrant for the resident. You need to come out with your hands up and your hands in.
At the same time, a grand jury was investigating Tupac's murder. Tupac Shakur was shot as he was riding in a car driven by Suge Knight one night in September 1996. Tupac had gotten into a fight with a man named Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand during a Mike Tyson fight. The shooting of Shakur was believed to be retaliation for the fight. Keffe D later confessed that he gave Anderson, who was his nephew, the gun to shoot Tupac Shakur. He made the statement in a proffer to police, but the statement could not be used against him in court. Years later, Keffe D admitted his involvement in Tupac's murder in his book, Compton Street Legend. Many view the book as a confession. Keffe D wrote about that night, "I pulled out the Glock that Zip had given me and tossed it in the back seat. Bubble Up did the driving, Baby Lane and Freaky were riding in the back. Like two rams locking horns, Suge and I looked each other dead in the eye. The terrified expression on Suge's face read, 'Damn them N-words.'" He goes on to write, "One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back." Tupac Shakur died days later, and his murder would remain unsolved for years. Orlando Anderson was shot to death the next year. Filmmaker Mike Dorsey worked with retired LAPD detective Greg Kading on the documentary Murder Rap, which looked at Kading's investigation into the murders of Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur. I spoke with Dorsey about the news that Duane Keffee D Davis had been taken into custody.
Well, this has been for me, kind of a 10-year journey since we put out our doc Murder Rap, which was the first documentary that put out his taped confession that his crew did this. And my reaction is that this has just been a very long time coming, and it's just an exciting day to finally have this. We didn't think this was going to happen at a certain point. It just seemed like so much time had gone by. You started to wonder, is it really going to happen or not? But the wheels of justice turn slowly sometimes, and that was the case here. But they got it done.
You said that you thought an indictment would be coming, but now you're saying you didn't think this would ever happen. So did you feel like it was taking too long? Because we had heard some rumblings that a grand jury was looking at this.
I'll just say, initially we had heard that it was going to happen very quickly. It seemed like an indictment was, 6 weeks ago, an indictment was like happening, and then nothing. And we heard the grand jury was convening, and it was very airtight. They're not telling us anything. They aren't telling the public anything. So you do start to wonder after weeks and weeks go by if they're really going to pull it off or not.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, what kind of witnesses do you think they have? Because everybody else that was in that vehicle that night is dead.
Sure. I know some of the people that they've spoken to, but I can't disclose that. But correct. I mean, all three of the other people that were allegedly with Keffe in the shooter's vehicle, they've all died since this happened. Some of the key witnesses, like Tupac's bodyguard, is dead. Tupac himself, of course, being the closest witness, is dead. Suge Knight, being the next closest witness, will probably never talk about it. So I don't know exactly who they've spoken to that could help them build, a case around Keffe. But I do know that when Murder Rap came out, we heard from a lot of people that had information on this case, that had never disclosed it before, who said that it basically filled in the gaps for them of what they already knew. So my guess is that that's who they've been talking to, is people like that who have pieces of the story. And when you put them all together, it's like this tapestry that comes together of a case.
In some of these interviews, Keffe D seemed very cognizant of the fact that he had to be careful about what he said. So he obviously knew that he still was at risk of possibly being prosecuted, but then he goes and writes this book.
Right. Yeah, when he did his interview with BET for Death Row Chronicles, which came out in 2018, he had an attorney with him present for that interview. And then after that, I don't know how much legal counsel he was getting. It's almost like when that came out and nothing happened to him, I wonder if maybe he got lulled into this sense of, oh, I guess they're not going to do anything. I'll just keep doing interviews and I'll be careful on my own and do what I think, I can get away with saying without going too far. But yeah, it seems clear. I mean, the fact that you bring a lawyer with you to an interview to make sure you don't say too much does tell you that he must have, at least in the back of his mind, considered that he might still be able to be prosecuted for this.
Mm-hmm.
And the proffer deal, when he did his original, statement to the police about this, 15 years ago, that only covers what he says that day in that meeting. If he went on CNN that night and said the same story, they would be able to use that interview against him. So
Sure.
I think he knows full well he had to be careful what he said.
So what do you expect to come next? Obviously, Keffe D had to know something might be coming since a search warrant was executed on his home.
Sure. We don't know what the charges are yet. I'm hoping that if there's a press conference today, that they'll tell us what he's actually being charged with and confirm, of course, that it's for this case.
Mm-hmm.
And the next, I would think that he might want to do a deal, or that they might be interested in doing a deal. I don't know anybody wants this to go to trial and have that circus in Vegas. And so I would suspect that they would try to do a deal, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. The Associated Press is reporting that a judge ordered Keffe D held without bail. The prosecutor on the case was quoted as saying during the hearing that Keffe D was the on-site commander who ordered the death of Tupac Shakur. For Law and Crime, I'm Anjanette Levy.
And see, that's what some people, when I posted the video, that's what some people was hitting me with, like, where it was like, well, he can't be the murderer because he was driving. That's what, first of all, that's what he's telling me. But say that he is a driver. He was the one who set everything up. He put the battery in those guys' back. Like, nah, we got to go do this nigga tonight. And as you see, everybody that was in the car with him is dead, including his cousin who died a week later. Or a year later after, that was gunned down a year later after this happened. So I'm thinking he made sure that happened so can't nobody talk. But look at his lifestyle. 2 cars in the driveway, mansions. This dude was living off of confessing to murdering Tupac. His street cred went through the roof, which elevated his life. And he knew that. To take out a star, he knew that. Now, like dude said, I've seen all types of black interviews. I'm sitting there watching, like, this dude is he's telling y'all that he murdered Tupac. The other documentaries where the cop was like, it was Keffe D. They told you it was Keffe D. Keffe D was the main character in killing Tupac. Fuck all that other stuff. It was Keffe D. And now that shit caught up to him. He got to a point where he felt bold. Yeah, I killed this dude. Yeah, I made sure Tupac was taken out. And now that shit's coming back to him. This is crazy. Crazy. I feel so bad for Tupac and his family because that's crazy how they did it. That's crazy as fuck how they did him. Just because he beat up somebody else or he jumped somebody else. Dude was fine. He didn't have no broken wrists, no black eyes. Orlando was fine. The only thing that was wrong with Orlando was his pride was bruised. But you stole another man's chain. You should have took that ass whooping and kept it moving. You should have took that ass whooping and kept it moving. You would be alive today. Tupac would be alive today. Biggie probably would be alive today. All of this happened because you got your ego bruised and Keffe said, this is my time to step up and be the kingpin of this whole shit and look like a boss. That's the evil of a man, of a black man. It's straight evil. You set all that off and nobody touched you. Keffe, nobody touched you, dog. Nobody. But you saw opportunity for you to become bigger than what you were. That's insane. You have really got to watch out for people, y'all. Friends, enemies, all of that shit. Just watch for the hearts of men because it's going to be the one you think that ain't going to take you down. It's going to be the one you think that you need to watch out for. It's going to put batteries in people back to take you out. I got one more video y'all I'm gonna show y'all. Y'all, please like, comment, let me know what y'all feeling about these videos in comments. So I keep it going. That's the only way I keep this shit going, y'all. Here we go, last video. And if you're on YouTube, comment, share.
What's your initial reaction to Keffe D being arrested?
Before we play this video, this is how his family feel about it. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and that way I can keep on putting these videos out. Subscribe and like.
What's your initial reaction to Keffe D being arrested?
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet for a number of reasons. The time, of course, 27 years, and it didn't have to be this way. You know, it didn't have to happen at all. You know, I hate even have to live with the reality that my brother's not here.
Exactly.
You know,
So what does justice look like for you and your family?
I mean, justice is accountability. That's the sweet part. It's bittersweet, but you know, some form of accountability and brace. I'm bracing for, because it ain't over. You know, we have yet to see. You know, we still got to see if there's accomplices. And we still got to see the motive.
Has the Vegas PD been in contact with you and your family at all during this investigation?
Finally, yeah.
Just now, or did they let you know?
Just recently. Just recently.
Okay.
But the detective that did reach out, he has since retired. So,
okay.
You know, that's seems to be a pattern in PAC's case.
Okay.
Out there, but,
so,
you know.
did you know that Keffe D was going to be arrested today?
No. Keep your popcorn. We're still waiting for things to unfold. The universe is working. PAC is still here.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, man.